What's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and I've got 5 of the best mathcore albums for getting started with the genre.
I'm a math-magician.
Aw, man.
Let's get started.
We want these plans of the honor, the deserve follow them down.
Alright, it couldn't be a mathcore list without including the Dillinger Escape Plan. I really thought long and hard about this, and I could put any Dillinger Escape Plan album on this list, but ultimately I have to give it to my first real love with the band, Miss Machine. This album is just absolutely fantastic. It was definitely one of my entry-level mathcore albums. Some people would put Calculating Infinity on this list. To me, I consider that to be actually less accessible and something you have to kind of like work your way up to because it's just so abrasive and raw. And yeah, there's plenty of this on here, especially as you heard from that intro from Panasonic Youth. But I heard that song and it just blew my fucking mind. Like, I had never really heard anything quite like that before. The guitar riffs on here are fantastic. And then also the diversity. Like, I love how, you know, with Greg coming into the fold as the new vocalist for this album, he brought all these new influences of electronic and industrial music. He's a big, like, Nine Inch Nails fan. And so all of this kind of gets rolled into songs like Unretrified and all of that. So great place to start. Fantastic album. Can't say enough great things about it. If you're not already familiar with listening to the Dillinger Escape Plan, then now is the time to get started. Alright, next up, a band that could not be left off this list. It's Converge, and I have to go again with the classic Jane Doe. Another band where I could pick pretty much anything out of their discography, and honestly, I feel like their albums just keep getting better than better. Everything they put out is just fantastic, but as far as getting started, like, you can't really go wrong with Jane Doe, and it's another one that features some diversity too. You've got your more aggressive, straight-up kind of mathcore tracks. You've got your more atmospheric and kind of epic soundtrack songs on here, and it's just very, like, there's so much emotion in it too. There's a lot of sadness, a lot of anger, a lot of rage. My understanding is that this was written in the wake of a pretty significant breakup, and you can definitely hear that coming through on the lyrics and just the overall aesthetic of the album. So many great songs on here, and it all leads up to this like big, powerful, epic closer that will stick with you for long after. So yeah, again, if you haven't been listening to Converge, you're missing out. Alright, another band that's just been cranking out albums year after year. We've got Norma Jean, and we're going back to their classic Bless the Martyr and Kiss the Child. And this is the only album of theirs besides the Ludacris album before their name changed to feature Josh Scogan, also of the Chariot fame, on vocals. And he just always tears it up, always brings it. And especially on this album, you heard at the top there, I played probably the best song, the most memorable song on here, Memphis Will Be Laid to Waste. So many intense, powerful moments on that. And then also when the vocalist from Me Without You comes in and makes an appearance and just gets totally frantic. You've got the panic chords. Like, I almost feel like Norma Jean, they didn't invent the panic chord, but they definitely helped popularize it. It was one of those where it kind of had some mainstream success, I feel like, a little bit of crossover. It really spoke to a lot of different crowds, too. It's got tons of great songs and a lot of just, like, memorable lyrics, too. A lot of scream-along moments about, like, she simply will not die. Yeah, start to finish, another total banger. Don't miss this album. And really, again, another one where Oh God, The Aftermath probably could have been a good choice as well, and I really enjoy Redeemer, but I'm trying to stick with the classics, and this was another entry-level one for me. And y'all, if you're enjoying this list, I've got plenty more on the channel. I've got playlists, and then I also really focus on underground albums most of the time. So if you're really being interested and kept up to date on the best and brightest new albums coming from kind of those lesser-known musicians, then definitely subscribe to the channel.
Shut up!
Alright, next up we've got a band that I feel like the mathcore crowd knows all about them. But when I talk to people who aren't really in the know, they know the Dillinger Escape Plan, they know Norma Jean, they know Converge, but they don't know Botch. And Botch, like, helped to frontline the genre. Like, without Botch, arguably, there might not be any mathcore. And so this is their album, We Are the Romans. It is just fantastic and just sort of stripped back, really abrasive, aggressive mathcore. Not as flashy as the Dillinger Escape Plan or even Converge, just very kind of down to basics and lots of great simplistic yet mathy riffs that kind of play with time signatures, but then aren't necessarily like difficult to pick up a guitar and learn, which I feel like is part of the appeal. It definitely was for me as somebody who was learning a lot of metal guitar riffs. Lots of fantastic songs on here, and they've got some great titles too. I feel like mathcore just kills it in terms of like a lot of humorous song titles. So we've got like C. Thomas Howell as the Soul Man. There's probably nothing really to do with the song, but it's a killer song. And in any case, you need to check out this album, and also you can then impress your friends by knowing who these guys are. And last but not least, this is probably my favorite album on this whole list, and one of my favorite albums of all time, I gotta say. Like, probably in my top 10. And that's a tall order, but it is from the New Jersey band, The Number 12 Looks Like You, and it's previously was their last album before their recent comeback, Worse Than Alone. This album is just absolute bliss. I know I already talked about variety in terms of Miss Machine with the Dillinger Escape Plan, but this one takes that and like throws it in the toilet, really. Like, there's so much happening here, and it's really painful for me to pick a clip whenever I feature this album, because I've talked about it a few times. If I can only use one clip, it's pretty much impossible, because none of them are going to give you the full picture. Even that one at the top, like, you've got songs like that with the incredible intense bass intro and just really aggressive, more kind of classic mathcore style. But then you've got the Garden's All Nighters, which is just this like jazz dance club kind of like... And then you've got If They Holler, Don't Let Go. It's got this amazing like stomp, stomp, stomp a cappella part. It's been a few years, still I carry. And then it kicks off into this amazing guitar riff and the screams and also dual vocals. I've said many times on this channel, I love dual vocals, and this is probably my favorite instance of it of all time. And kind of sadly, the second vocalist left the band after this, and so you don't really get any more. But their interplay between their vocals is really cool, and just tons and tons of memorable moments that I did a podcast where we talked about their latest album, and I got to feature a few little clips of theirs from over the years, and that made me feel a little bit better about really kind of giving the scope. But ultimately, you just have to listen to it. Like, I don't want to spoil it all for you, and I really can't put it all into words, just how amazing and incredible this album is, and how just masterful all of the musicians are on here. The drums, the guitars, the vocals, the bass, everyone is just giving like 1000% on this thing. And so do yourself a favor, if you've never listened to this, then you're missing out. Please do go listen to it right now after you're done watching this. And that's it, y'all. 5 mathcore albums that you definitely don't want to miss out on, and are great sort of entry-level additions into starting off in this genre. But let me know what your favorite mathcore albums are, and other albums that you'd probably recommend to somebody who's kind of just getting started. And also, what's your favorite mathcore album of all time? That'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.